Did you know there are over 7 renewable energy sources? Renewable energy is any energy that can be created by an infinite source, such as water, wind, or sunlight. Renewable energy could also be considered clean energy, because most don't have carbon emission like fossil fuels have. I think it's important for you to learn about fossil fuels and their effects, and as well as the better options, such as renewable energy, that we can work towards. I am a credible source on this because I did plenty of research online, and I have written a paper for Comp 2 on the effects of fossil fuel emissions. Today we're going to be talking about the consequences of fossil fuels, the different types of renewable energy and how they are created, as well as the drawbacks some of these energy sources have. Fossil fuels can have many different types of consequences. One consequence is the buildup of CO2 in the atmosphere. We know that this comes from fossil fuel because, as stated in an article on climate.gov, fossil fuels are the only carbon source on Earth that has the same isotopic footprint that the carbon in the atmosphere has. The negative effects from this carbon buildup is the fact that all the sunlight and the heat is not able to escape the Earth like it was used to. This leads up to a buildup in heat in the atmosphere, which causes the melt of icebergs, as well as the Arctic, which causes water levels to rise, and can damage coastal cities and hurt native species. But it can also cause climate change and create worse weather, such as hurricanes and typhoons along the coast, which can do more damage. Another bad effect of fossil fuels is how we get them. The drilling of oil can be very harmful to the environment. It can chase off native species, it can cause leaks which can kill native species, and also in the ocean, the drilling causes vibrations which can distract marine mammals, which leads them to being beached more often and to their deaths. This is why I think it's better to move away from fossil fuels and start moving towards renewable energy. There are many types of renewable energy. The first types we are going to be talking about are water-based ones. I have a visual aid to show you how hydroelectric power is made. So they dam up rivers, and then they let water in when they're ready to make energy, and it spins this turbine with the force of the water, which generates energy that you can use for power. The other two water sources are in the ocean. The first one is thermal ocean water. So you need the warmer top water and then the colder deep water for this process to work. What happens is they use a liquid with a low boiling point, such as ammonia, and turn it into a gas, which goes down and spins turbines, which creates energy, and then the colder water cools it and turns it back into liquid so it can be reused. The second kind is tidal. According to the article on National Geographic, there are 3 types of tidal energy. The first type is tidal streams. This is made by the tides coming in and out, and it's just a stream of fast-moving water that spins the turbines. Another type is called barrage. Barrage is built at the end of rivers that flow into the ocean. So they're basically just big dams like the hydroelectric ones. And then there's tidal lagoons. Tidal lagoons are just man-made or natural occurring lagoons that they put generator in that are sort of like walls that have turbines in them that spin when the water flows in and out with the tides. Now we're going to talk about the non-water energy. The first one we're going to talk about is solar energy. Solar energy absorbs sunlight and converts it into electricity, heat, and other sources of energy. Next we're going to talk about geothermal. Geothermal is the heat and energy created underneath the ground that usually comes out in the form of geysers and lava, volcano eruptions. But we have found ways to make machines that can use that energy and absorb it and create it into electricity. There's also wind energy, which is wind turbines which gets spun by wind and create energy. Then, last one is there's biomass. Biomass is any plant material that we burn for energy, such as ethanol or wood in a fire. Unfortunately, these renewable energies do have some drawbacks. One drawback that these energy sources have, specifically the tidal energy, is the fact that they can affect environments. This is mostly the barrage, which can kill species when it brings in the water. The other two don't have as much effect, so if you avoid the barrage and use the other two, there's not as much damage. Solar power and geothermal drawbacks are the fact that they're expensive to make, but if we could find cheaper ways to make them, they wouldn't be as much of a drawback. Biomass's drawback is the fact that it creates carbon emission, but the carbon emission is considered to be less than the fossil fuels, which is less of a drawback. And the fact that it uses plants, which means we have to grow more plants, which would absorb that carbon emission, makes it a better option. Today we have learned about the fact that fossil fuels have consequences, the different types of renewable energy and how they work, and the drawbacks of these renewable energies. I truly believe this is a better option that we should all work towards, which is why I think you should make it a priority to work further towards using renewable resources, such as using ethanol, mixed fuel instead of just gas, or trying to push politicians to work towards renewable energy, or other options. This is all necessary for the Earth to survive. If we don't change, things will just continue to get worse.